Consecration is a biblical concept that simply means setting yourself apart for God's purposes. It involves dedicating your life, time, and energy to God, making Him the center of your thoughts and actions. Consecration is about surrendering yourself fully to God and His will, and it is a vital step in spiritual growth. Just as the Israelites were commanded to consecrate themselves for God's service in the Old Testament, we, as believers in Christ, are also called to live consecrated lives, focusing on holiness and devotion to God. To begin growing spiritually, it is crucial to spend daily time with God. This time can include prayer, reading the Bible, and reflecting on His Word. Jesus Himself set an example of this practice, often withdrawing to pray alone. In Mark 1 verse 35, we read that, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house and went off to a solitary place, where He prayed. Jesus' example teaches us that spending quiet, uninterrupted time with God is essential for spiritual strength and growth. Additionally, many great men and women of the Bible, such as Moses and Daniel, also set aside time for prayer and seeking God's guidance. Moses spent 40 days on the mountain with God, Exodus 34 verse 28, and Daniel prayed 3 times a day, Daniel 6 verse 10. Their dedication to spending time with God brought them closer to Him and enabled them to fulfill His purposes in their lives. Living a life consecrated to God requires more than just a set time of prayer or study. It involves making God the priority in every area of your life. The Apostle Paul emphasized this in 1 Corinthians 10 verse 31, saying, "So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God." Living for God rather than for yourself leads to a life of purpose and fulfillment. When we choose to live for God's glory, we align our desires with His will, and this brings peace and joy that the world cannot offer. We are not meant to live for our own self-interest, but rather to serve God's kingdom and bring honor to His name. Furthermore, it is important to remember that Jesus will return soon, and when He does, He will reward those who have faithfully consecrated their lives to Him. In Revelation 22 verse 12, Jesus says, "Behold, I am coming soon. My reward is with me, and I will give to each person according to what they have done." The benefit of living a life consecrated to God is not just the spiritual growth that happens along the way, but the eternal reward that awaits us. As we live with the awareness that Jesus could return at any time, we are motivated to keep our lives focused on Him, knowing that everything we do for God has eternal value. Consecration to God is essential for spiritual growth. By spending time with God daily, choosing to live for Him, and keeping the return of Jesus in mind, we build a strong foundation for our faith. Let us dedicate ourselves to living consecrated lives, fully surrendered to God's will.